Hey, everybody, welcome to the Big Play Tailgate. I'm Tony Zarrella. Week 8 in the NFL as the Baltimore Ravens come storming into town with 5 straight wins. Hottest team in football, maybe the best team in football. We'll break that down. The Browns have turned the quarterbacking over to Jameis, the play calling over to Ken Dorsey. But as we all know, the problems are much, much deeper than that. Let's get to it. Chuck Booms, Bob Golic, Ken Miles, to break this all down. And we bring in Ken Miles, the CEO of Big Play Sports, because he, like us, is committed to identifying what the problem is with this football team and how do we fix it, Ken?
Well, first of all, guys, thanks for letting me come on your legendary show. And I couldn't think of a better place to come on this morning and talk about what do we do as Browns fans. And as the individual who's one of the owners of the Big Play Network and CEO of audience that encompasses the entire state of Ohio, really, actually the nation, we have an obligation to our fans to be the voice of reason. And I wanted to come on your show because you guys for years have been the only show that I personally could trust to not be in the pocket of the Browns, to find out what's really going on and be the absolute place where people come to hear the truth. So I'm here this morning challenging you 3 guys to work with us at Big Play to find out how did we get in this mess, because I can assure you I don't want to see us go down that same path of 1
we're down
and
the
31.
path, Ken. We're down the path right now. It's not as simple as the record and one win and not scoring points. It's worse than that.
Yeah, it is, and appreciate having Ken on the show. I mean, it's the thing that's serious to me, and I think to all of us here this morning, is the train has left the tracks, but the goal is to make sure it doesn't roll down the mountain as a flaming heap of metal and turn into 1 and 31 and have Hugh Jackson say, well, if we go 0 and 16, I'll jump in the lake. That can't happen again. All of us love the city too much. We love the Browns. This is a football town. Bob Golic is a Browns legend. I don't know anyone who loves the Browns as much as Bob. And it just cannot continue. That we have to address who the people are, call them out, and all the while doing that, guys, letting them know the Browns are 5 minutes away. We're at Burke Lakefront Airport at the Big Play Studios. If they have a problem with anything this show says, come on down. You can have the full hour with us.
Well, that's exactly what I wanted to come on here and say. For those of you that don't know and haven't been down to Burke Lakefront Airport, come on down, see our studios, see our lounge. It's built for this very thing. We love our sports teams. We love the Browns. Andrew Berry, Jimmy D. Haslam, Paul DePodesta, as Chucky just said, we want you to come and explain what's going on because, frankly, it looks to us like this is as you said, the train has left the station, but it's obviously off the tracks. Now, maybe you have a plan that we don't understand, but it seems somewhat insulting to me to think that this was working when every one of us was saying we saw real football with Joe Flacco last year. We wondered why you bring in John Dorsey or Ken Dorsey to run the offense, and then you have our coach calling the plays. I was talking to Chuck earlier about this. Can you imagine that I build a steakhouse here in Cleveland, I hire a chef to come in, and I decide that I'm going to bring somebody else to cook his recipes? It makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, Ken, you're onto something here, and it's the arrogance of this franchise, the decision-making that has been going on for a long time. You can pinpoint one thing. Well, they didn't bring Flacco back. Obviously, it's an awful decision, and Kevin's going to call the plays. Now he's not. What's really going on here? But it's bigger than that. That's what we're talking about. And Bob, as one of the legends of this team and really representative of the last great era of this team, which is mind-numbingly 40 years ago, what does this do to you?
Well, going back, being a Clevelander, as Chuck said, a Clevelander, went to high school here, St. Joe's, went away for briefly, left for New England until they cut me. But then I came back here and I got a chance to play for the Browns. I swear this team is so ingrained in my soul that watching things happen to it like this it just tears me apart inside. And you don't, so you watch, and as a ex-player, you do what you guys are saying. You sit there and you try to analyze what's going on, because surely they'll do what you think they should do. And I don't know. We keep seeing this this thing where they're basically saying, well, okay, we're going to do this one thing, and then it doesn't work. And then next day they're like, okay, we're going to do this one thing. It's like, man, there are so many problems going on right now. You've got to analyze the whole thing. You can't just sit there and try to appease the fans. We want more than appeasing. We want winning. We want the pride that we saw with this team back in '64. We want the pride that when I was a kid, we used to drive with my dad and listen to the radio call. You know, fair hooker, split 15 at the right, Paul Warfield to the left. And it was just
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, and you could just sit there and just envision it. And everybody's passion was there. And now you can see there's still people going up there to try and find it, to find that history.
It's 100% correct, Bob. And so is Tony when he brings up the arrogance. They may flash their Ivy League diplomas over there, Barry and Stefanski. I know plenty of people that went to Ivy League schools who have the common sense of a doorstop. And I appreciated what you just said there, Bob. You could feel the passion and the hurt, because it's easy to make jokes about it, but a lot of times people make jokes, take it from a professional comedian. You make jokes about the things that hurt you the most because you don't want to deal with the pain, so the humor takes the pain away. The joke was already 1-31, and I think what Ken is doing here as our CEO is announcing we can't just have it be jokes and this and that. Sure, there's humor in all kinds of things, but if we head down the path of 1-31 again, because these guys, as Tony said, so arrogant, won't admit things that we all see. We all see it. We all know what it is. And we can't get through our heads if Joe Flacco played that great and the whole town was excited, and every national guy goes, well, I'm sure they're bringing him back. And he goes on stage and wins Comeback Player of the Year and says, my wife and I fell in love with Cleveland, and he wants to come back.
It's one thing, Chuck. Great example, persistent example. We talk about everything.
Right.
It's one thing.
Yes.
We're going to go to a break. When we come back, let's talk about one of the Ivy Leaguers at the top of the front office here. Been here 5 years now. In the decision, while we're in the break, think about this. Name me 3 draft picks of Andrew Berry who you'd put on your football team. We'll be back. Back here on the Big Play Tailgate, Ken Miles, the CEO of Big Play Sports, joining us this week. And so, a few years ago, actually, I had to go back to 2020, where people laughed at me in this city because I wanted that football guy to remain in the office, of course, and they jettisoned John Dorsey, and they bring in Andrew Berry, and it's gone off a cliff slowly. I mean, of course, Berry got to play with Dorsey's players for a while and be successful, and now here we are. Ken, what do they do?
Well, I guess I look at it from a business perspective, and I don't claim to know the amount of football that you guys do, but I certainly can tell you I understand business. And when you have a problem in business, you change one variable at a time. And I'm going to give you an example of what's just happened this past week. We all feel bad that Deshaun Watson got hurt. I don't want to see anybody get injured, but it was time for him to leave the field. Jameis Winston, who's part of our Big Play family, was the guy that should have been playing. And now, as a result of the injury, and we saw what happened, DTR, he's hurt, Jameis Winston is the quarterback. Now, it's the perfect opportunity for Kevin Stefanski to keep calling plays, run his offense, put him back under center, run the Stefanski offense, and let's see if it works. If it does, then we know without a reason, without any doubt, Deshaun Watson was the problem. But what did Andrew Berry do? And Andrew, this is why I want you to come on the show and tell us we're wrong. Andrew had 2 changes made. Stefanski hands off play calling to Dorsey, and we've got Jameis Winston. Well, if the offense takes off, guess what he can say? I made the change. It was the play calling. And now Deshaun Watson, we don't know. Is he the quarterback or not?
Well, and remember, too, that we were talking DTR was actually the guy they put in there. If not him being hurt, we may not have seen, and most of the fans were looking, saying, Jameis Winston's the guy to try, and DTR seemed to be loved very much by the team, but had he not gotten hurt, I think he would have been in.
Well, the offense was not really moving with him there.
Right.
And then you saw what happened. I get it. End of the game, the defense might have been playing a little bit lax, but Jameis definitely had some chemistry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you got to believe the guy's the leader. Now, I get it. We are in another bind. Is DTR our quarterback of the future? The way we're heading, we're going to have a draft choice. Do we draft a quarterback? We don't know. Is DTR the guy? Barry seems to love him.
Well, and if
we draft him 27th pick of the first round.
Why would anybody
do
think
that
he's,
a lot?
Respectfully, why would anybody think he's the guy? Why would anybody
That's
think
my
that
point.
And by the way, he became DTR rather quickly. Don't have to earn that.
Well, I thought you were about to
just call
say,
him
oh, you're
Dorian.
talking about DTR. I'll take it a step further. Why would anybody, which is why this has to get serious real fast, think that Andrew Berry should be given a boatload of picks, including some high picks if they keep losing like this, and entrust him to make the picks? We have his picks right
Thank
here.
you.
We'll go over them in a little while. But, I mean, it's a joke, and Ken's point is well taken. He's now covering his rear end, but covering his rear end for things that we already know aren't true. They said Jameis Winston came here because he couldn't have Joe Flacco here, and Jameis was the backup until you turn around and it's like people, sleight of hand. Now he's not the backup. Well, then what the hell is he here for? So it's all these lies and shuffling that have the fans so angry. And believe me, when Watson came out of the tunnel before he got hurt, and I don't like people being cheered when they get hurt either, but he got booed unmerciful. It was unbelievable how bad. And the people were making it clear they don't want. And then Stefanski, who does it all the time, kept going to a microphone, you guys, and saying, Deshaun Watson gives us our best chance to win. I mean, cue the laugh track.
Well, because
That's
it wasn't up to another lie. Another lie.
Yes.
The list is long.
Can I
I don't
interject-
believe a word that comes out of that facility anymore.
No,
Not
can't.
one word.
Can I interject something on the
Sure.
side talking about Deshaun? I know a lot of people wanted him out. A lot of people wanted him to sit. He wasn't doing anything. It was time to try somebody else. And I know that people booed when he got hurt. And they put him on the cart, and he put the towel over his head, and you could see that he was crying, and hearing people still, cheering for him being out by that means. I just got to say, and I will defend him to the death on that. He didn't go out there. Deshaun Watson did not go out there and try to play crappy. He didn't say, boy, I certainly hope I piss off the fans today. He had a reputation. He had it in Houston. And he was a guy that he wanted to be that again, but he couldn't find the combination. He couldn't do it. So I was watching him, and it's like you could almost see tears in his eyes as he's going off. And I can understand how your passion for the game can just be overwhelming when you realize that it might be over. So, yeah.
Well, Bob, look, you know better than anybody. I mean, you put your life on the line, and it's a dangerous game. I mean, we've unfortunately seen the injuries, and now, again, whatever your feelings are for Deshaun, you hope he gets better. But the insult that we feel as fans, and we take a look at basically what Barry is saying, we've got better quarterbacks than Baker Mayfield. I mean, you look at the Big Play Network, we've got some great talent on our shows. Coach Greg and Blake Williams. Greg Williams will tell you, and Blake will say, Baker Mayfield was a leader. You talk to anybody in Berea, when we were going through that debacle of a season, that guy, it was a morgue until Baker took over. And some of the things that he did behind the scenes to rally the troops in spite of everything that was going on. But now he's telling us Baker Mayfield couldn't make it here, and we've got this mess.
They
He's
didn't
telling
draft
us
him.
Joe Flacco couldn't make it here.
Just
We've got
watch
this
how
mess.
they were when they went into the huddle. And, they show you that shot beforehand. And when Baker Mayfield went in, people got there. People got around and organized and galvanized around him. Deshaun, while he was playing, everybody was kind of wandering around. There was no continuity with that offense.
Well, I appreciate your comments, Bob, really, because, I mean, obviously you played in the league a long time, 3-time Pro Bowler, a Browns legend. You come at it from a professional athlete's point of view.
Yeah.
And the emotions are real.
Yeah.
And the sacrifice that Deshaun was making to try to stay out there is real. But that doesn't mean he was the right call week after week.
Absolutely
That's not what you're saying.
Absolutely not. That's
I
not
know,
what I'm saying. Right.
but I appreciate what you're saying because that's your viewpoint. You've been there, done
Thank
it.
you.
Well, and what we have to do now going forward is make sure that everybody in Berea is held accountable for what will go down as the single worst trade in NFL history, and you can make the argument it was the worst trade in the history of professional sports. We gave away 5 draft picks. We should be able to have the Houston Texan games broadcast here. We built the damn franchise. So
And they're good.
Well,
they're good.
This is the type of stuff that makes my blood absolutely boil. I love the fact that you guys let me come on the show. But what I want to say is now you know what we want to do with this show. And I want you 3 guys to be the voice of reason where the fans out there can come and know that you're going to get the unfettered truth, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. I'll reiterate, anybody over in Berea, you want to come on the show, we will accommodate whatever your schedule is.
Absolutely.
But you guys know what you've got to do, and I want you to go ahead and do it.
Thanks, Ken.
Very good.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Ken.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it
Ken's
very
off.
much.
Ken's off. Good luck with Seize the Gray, by the way.
Yeah, the great horse sees the gray.
Preakness winner.
Love
Ken's
that
one of the
horse.
owners, and big race this weekend.
Well,
at
you know,
Cali.
and the other thing is that,
Hold it.
yeah,
We'll be back.
okay.
All right, back here on the Big Play Tailgate. So, Andrew Berry's been here since January of 2020. Grant Delpit, okay. JOK, okay. And I want you to give me other picks that you'd say, that's a guy that if I had to do it again, I'd draft him again.
I'm so glad you asked. This is not a header behind. This is the
Just
new,
behind.
new segment called Oh My God, He Picked Who? Jedrick Wills, terrible. Jordan Elliott. I wouldn't know if he was an actor on Yellowstone. Jacob Phillips, Harrison Bryant, Nick Harris, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Now, that was a late pick, but still,
Yeah.
right.
it's a pick.
I always steer away from people with hyphens in their name. Otherwise, I'd pick Olivia Newton-John. Greg Newsome, bad. That's a first-round pick. Owusu Koromo was terrific.
He's good.
Here's one of
Greg-
the worst
Greg
third-round
Newsome?
picks
Oh,
of all
can
time.
I say it? Can I jump in?
Yeah, I wish.
I wish this was Anthony Schwartz.
Right, and if you look up Tony Schwartz, he was actually Bob on Battlestar Galactica in
I remember him.
1978.
I'll take him.
How about
Yeah.
Greg Newsome? A good choice.
Not in a first-round pick.
No.
Not for a
not
first-round pick.
Yeah.
Schwartz was awful. Couldn't catch, which is kind of what you want in a receiver. And go ahead.
David Bell.
Oh, okay.
Alex Wright, James Hudson couldn't block my aunt. Richard LeCount III. All that makes me wonder is how was Richard LeCount 1 and 2? Because the third didn't
Ask
work
the
out.
Winslows.
Third time, not the charm.
Yeah, third down. Now,
Ask the Winslows.
one of my favorite high picks from Andrew Berry, we all left out, Cade York.
Yeah. All right.
Couldn't kick a Nerf hoop through the basketball off the backboard. Jerome Ford, ouch. Here's another one, Michael Woods the second. Longtime Pistons great, Isaiah Thomas. I forgot they had drafted him.
Right.
Dawson Deaton.
Oh,
I
yeah.
liked his work on Dawson's
He was
Creek.
tremendous.
Bob. That
The
was great.
alliteration was just wonderful, too.
Siaki, is that Siaki Taki? I don't know what that is.
No.
Zach Zinter.
Yeah.
Mike Hall Jr., isn't that the guy who just got in trouble?
He's the former Buckeye.
Yeah, I think
Right.
so, yeah. Jawan Briggs, Nathaniel Watson. I mean, this is unbelievable.
It's incredible. You couldn't do this if you tried.
Then his big free agent signings. Conklin, I know you're partial. He's a Notre Dame guy, I believe. Wasn't he Notre Dame?
No.
Or was he Michigan
No,
State?
it's not.
Right.
Michigan State. Austin Hooper, that was a
Right.
waste of money. Case Keenum, John Johnson the third. I'd start to stay away from these guys with the third at the end of their name because he sucked. Troy Hill, Jadanian Clowney was one of the worst locker room guys ever. And what they do when he was bad in the locker room? Bring him back another year. They did. All right. Jacoby Brissett. I loved his sister,
Well, you hope-
Jacqueline Brissett.
Exactly. He was great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in the deep?
Yes, in the deep.
That was a good one.
Okay.
I mean,
My
these
eyes are bleeding.
Yeah, Jakeem Grant, Taven Bryan.
Okay. So, and then Okay.
I left out the best one.
Yeah.
Tyler Huntley, who came here just to figure out what the Browns were going to do and went back
Take
to
it back
Baltimore.
over there.
Yeah, he went back.
And he
Take
comes
it
in
back.
and he replaces the football guy that everybody wanted to jettison out of town.
Yeah.
Look, Dorsey made a mistake with Freddie. Okay.
Freddie kicked. John Dorsey made a mistake there, but he was
But he
kind of
set-
boxed in
Okay.
because
of
he
the
thought
Baker.
the other teams wanted to go
They
take
thought
him.
they would take him as coordinator.
Right.
And he had
And
the
that-
relationship with Baker.
Yes.
And so here you go. But in the meantime, Dorsey comes in and he drafts Baker and he drafts Denzel Ward
And Nick Chubb,
and Nick Chubb.
all in one draft.
And he brings in Kareem.
Kareem
And he
Hunt,
sets the table
Jarvis
for you.
Landry.
Right, he gets
to set
Jarvis.
to set the what do they always call it in the locker room? The words escaping me. The
Shower.
That's right. Jarvis Landry would set the shower heads, and that's a big thing. No,
Yeah.
the culture.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
the culture, and he did that, Jarvis Landry.
He did.
And so John Dorsey, and again, John Dorsey's a football guy. You've said it a million times. Old school football guy. How's he done? Well, we just read Barry's track record. John Dorsey's track record is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
He came here and made us a playoff team, and now he's got the Detroit Lions as one of the best teams in the NFL. So do I want that guy picking for me or this schlub?
So when he was in Kansas City, he moves things around to draft Mahomes.
Yes,
Right? He
brilliantly.
drafts Kareem,
Yes.
who's at the U of Toledo.
Yep.
Okay, becomes MVP, Rookie of the Year, whatever.
How about
Kareem
the
was
cheetah?
racking up all these things. Right. So
He gets the what round did he get him?
I don't know, but he made a couple of mistakes. Freddie's the big one. I mean, Antonio Callaway was a miss, but for the most part, he set the table for you to do what you did the last couple of years.
He
when
also
you went up.
didn't he draft Travis Kelce? Dorsey.
I have to check. But the bottom line is he put together winners. Now he's lending his hand with the Lions, doing his thing.
He's the guy that's overseeing all of the player
So-
personnel stuff and everything because he's a football guy.
Would you bring him back?
I would.
They won't,
I
but
would
would
tell
you?
Jimmy and Dee Haslam, before you put a shovel in the ground for the dome, I would be on the phone or take your corporate jet to Detroit and do what Dan Gilbert had the guts, the decency, and the strength to do when he got on a plane and flew down with just LeBron and said, I'm sorry for the letter I wrote. I apologize if that embarrassed you or your family, and da-da-da-da-da. And LeBron accepted and came back here and won a championship. Well, you know what, Jimmy and Dee? Do the same thing. Go apologize to John Dorsey. He gave us all these great players, and even though they've tried hard to get rid of all of them, there's the one thing we cannot do is allow him to start trading away Garrett, Denzel Ward, and accumulating picks that he's going to say, now I'm going to make all the draft picks.
So I confirmed your Kelsey here, 2013.
But you know,
2030 is that him?
That was John's first year as GM of the Chiefs. Yeah.
when things happen like this, people every day, every single day, every game are trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And so if you don't have facts, if you don't have the players or coaches telling you real things, then your mind goes. Your mind starts saying, okay, I see it. And you get little groups of people going, well, they're going to get rid of Myles Garrett. People talk about maybe trading him, but there's without information, without stats, without those things, you're going to have a bunch of people just wallowing around talking
And
about
speaking
things.
of information, we ought to be able to start telling people what's really coming down. Because if you think it's bleak now, let me give you bleak. Well, you know what? I'll put the third after it because wherever that 3 is after someone's name. This is bleak the third. His cap hit next year, they were saying is $73 million because of the restructure. And the next year after that's worse. Dak Prescott already makes the most in the NFL at 60-some million a year.
Yeah.
Until you get to Watson, who's going to make $73 million and not play.
The
Yeah.
next 2 years.
So
he's
in the
up to
meantime, they
75,
bob and
73,
weave and-
75.
Yeah,
I mean, to cut you off and deflect attention and lie.
they do.
We're going
lie.
to break that down when we come back. The tailgate rolls on. All right, back here on the tailgate. You guys see that graphic about putting up 20 points or more, which the Browns have yet to do, obviously, in 7 games. But the point is, almost every pro in college football team known to mankind is on the left, having scored 20 points in a game. And there's, I think, 3 or 4 Major League Baseball teams that scored runs. So they're like, can we call runs points? Because we count.
Sure.
And then, of course, the only one that hasn't are the Browns. And if you look at a couple of games where people say, well, they put 16. Well, they didn't put 16 up.
The defense.
Somebody ran one back. McLeod ran one. You had
block
3
punt.
kicks. You didn't score a touchdown.
Right.
So it's downright historic at this point.
It really is.
And now they're going against a Ravens team that is hungry to come in here and literally just embarrass you and destroy you. This is going to be ugly. Now you're going to have Jameis throw a lot. One thing we know, he can put up 30 touchdowns in a year and 30 interceptions.
Yeah.
So that's, and now your favorite of they know that I know that you know that they know. They have the worst pass defense right now in the league. So they'll probably come out and give it to Jerome Ford 35 times. But
Humphrey's hurt.
Yeah. So they've got problems with the defensive back. So, but Bob, this is a game tailor-made where let's open up the offense. Let's see what Dorsey can do with Jameis's right arm. My fear is because he's a straight drop back passer. I was telling our esteemed producer Ryan this yesterday on the phone. The other thing the Ravens love to do is feed on drop back passers because then they come with those weird stunts and blitz packages, and he ain't exactly mobile. So I worry.
Well, I think we saw Deshaun being even less mobile. I think when Jameis still can move a little bit. I mean, some of the best but less mobile quarterbacks like Dan Marino could move within the pocket. He felt people coming. He felt somebody behind him, and he could step here, step there, just to avoid being hit. So
Rodgers, Drew Brees, they actually step into the middle of the pocket so the rush goes around him and stuff.
Yeah, and that's why us nose tackles, we love to see a guy step up.
Yeah.
So they make the change. Obviously, Winston getting the call, despite not getting it last week, and then now the play. What do you think changes by changing play callers, other than don't look over here to the clown show that we got going on here? We're making a move, and now he's going to call plays. What does that matter?
The fact that the offensive line is still the same offensive line, I think that gives you the answer right there.
The summer come. I hear that Wyatt Teller.
Yeah.
That's another John Dorsey incredible pickup. Wyatt Teller.
A trade with Buffalo.
Yeah, They gave him a loaf of bread, and we got one of the best linemen in football. I just forgot
what changes with the play call.
Oh, the change with the play call. Thank you. I was just going to address it. Well, here's what it is. Dorsey, so they lose either way. This is Ken Dorsey.
Yeah.
Too many Dorseys in one game planner. Ken Dorsey.
I'll take Michael Dorsey.
Yeah, if the play calling goes great and the Browns win and Jameis looks great, then they're going to go, why the hell didn't you insist that he call the plays? You brought him here to work with Watson. Maybe Watson would have looked better. So wherever they go, they're on a spaceship with no escape hatch because they just keep running into another one of their own blunders. And if Ken Dorsey stinks as a play caller, they can't get off the ship because they go, why the hell did you get rid of Alex Van Pelt? Because him and Stefanski had Flacco look great.
You mentioned Jameis is 30-30. So back in 2019, he threw for 5,000 yards because Tampa Bay threw 40 times a game.
Yeah.
And he had the 33 touchdowns and also had 30 picks. So in any season, by this completion rate, I think career-wise is 60%. I mean, in any given season that he starts more than 9 games, he can throw for some yards, but he's going to get picked off in double digits. So who knows what's coming with this situation?
Well,
I'll tell you, and it comes down to it. We talked about the Ravens defense, and they come and they penetrate. And I would say, what's the one thing we've been having trouble with? It's pretty much everything, but knocking off guys who are trying to pull on a trap, beating a guy or making a guy go the wrong way as he's dropping back to pass. There's always people in there blowing up plays, getting through, making hits or sacks on the quarterbacks. And I don't care. Joe Montana could be out there, and if he's got bad line in front of him, and a running game that is okay. I mean, but even with the running game, with Jerome Ford, you're talking about how teams that attack
I'm going to ask you my
knock off the runs, too. Yeah.
I got to ask you my dumb question of the day. I'm not.
wait.
I say that my law professors. There's my dumb question of the day. The
And
attorney,
they always say to you, what about the other two you just asked?
right. Jeffrey Smith. I work for great attorney in Elyria. Here's my dumb question of the day.
All right.
Yes or no? Has Deshaun played his last game as a Cleveland Brown?
100,000 million%. He'll never see the field again or wear the Browns
With the Browns?
I don't think he'll ever play again.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the money, but
He was
doesn't.
having problems moving anyway. I mean, it just seemed like he had lost all the confidence in his ability to move around. I don't know if you guys have ever had Achilles injuries. I've had partial tears. I've had things like that. And it's really difficult to do anything. And especially when you get a tear like that, there's no blood flow. There's very little blood flow coming through the tendon, which connects the muscle, the calf muscle, to the bone and the heel. And if that goes, it takes forever to heal. You're going to have to surgically go in there and do something with it. But still, you're talking about not having the same kind of blood flow you have in the skin and in the muscle.
I had no idea of the depth of your medical knowledge.
No.
This is incredible.
There's a lump on the side of your...
I thought... I was thinking the same thing. I thought Jack Klugman was here from Quincy.
Quincy? Oh, my God.
Alexa.
Hey,
I was going to tell Bob I
I-
can't lift
can
my right arm. Can you help me out after the
don't
show?
do that
Yeah.
with the arm.
Stop
He'll do
it.
it. So
John Gage is here to put you in your place.
The kid will have to see that again.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, there it is.
It's good to laugh. By the way,
The bottom line is he is right about, and it's a complete tear of the Achilles. It's a bad one.
Yeah.
And one other thing, if I may add my medical expertise to Bob's diagnosis, is that the atrophy of all the other because you can't really walk, you can't do anything. It's an awful, awful thing. And so
your calf will turn into just a noodle.
Why would he put himself through that when he can take another check for $150 million?
Most players would like to say, you know what? I want to go back and do it because I've got to prove
maybe he
to
will,
them.
but it won't be
Maybe
here.
he will.
But where would it be?
I don't
Nobody
know.
would
I
take.
don't know.
No.
Okay, you know what's next? Ahead or behind?
Ahead or behind?
Stick around. Well, we've had a good 45 minutes or so of angst and misery. So now let's turn the corner here and have some fun with the Chucky. Biggest.
Chucky!
It's the game show sweeping the nation. Yes, from San Diego, California to Kennebunkport, Maine, and from Seattle, Washington down to Key West, where MMA super stud Corey Covington will be showing me how to bounce off the ropes even though we won't be in a ring. It's ahead or behind. And
All right.
I just threw up on my mouth a little bit.
with that reference to ropes and rings, and I must say, again, our thanks to CEO Ken Miles, who came in earlier, and beautiful clothing. Almost had a Vince McMahon feel, did it not?
The definite
Authoritative.
Vince McMahonish, yeah.
It had he's the head of the whole thing, and it's like, oh, here comes the boss. In honor of his Vince McMahon thing, I hold in my hand the 20 top WWE wrestlers of all time. That's why I thought Bob may be good at this. Right in the middle for Tony Zarrella,
All right.
Bruno Sammartino.
All right.
All right, Bruno Sammartino's right in the middle of the list at
All right,
number
hold on.
10. We're going to start with Bob Golic this time, and Bob is Randy the Macho Man Savage. Randy Savage, ahead or behind Bruno Sammartino?
Oh, yeah.
And Bob, I just hurt my epiglottis, and I know you know what that is because you're a doctor.
That's right. It's not anywhere near your
They used to roam the
Achilles.
earth, didn't they?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of blood going to your epiglottis.
Yeah, I wish.
I'm
I have
going
to
to say
have a
behind.
blue pill for my epiglottis.
I'm going to say behind.
He's going to say behind. Can you believe
Bob's
he got
on the
it?
board.
And he's not far behind, but he is
All right,
behind.
all right.
Pressure switches to the king of dynasties. All right, here we go. Bruno Sammartino, Tony Zarrella, right in the middle, is The Undertaker. Ahead or behind?
Well, if Randy Macho Man, and we're only talking a short window here of 20 wrestlers, is behind, I'm going to say he is behind.
And so are you. Already behind 1-0. Undertaker, one of the biggest of all time, just with the music and the whole thing. Spectacular. Bob?
Yes.
A chance to get up 2-0.
Okay.
2-0. My favorite of all time, with the kilt, with the bagpipes.
Oh.
The rowdy one, Rowdy Roddy Piper. Man, did I love that. I have a doll on my shelf. I loved him so much. He
Action
was-
figure.
Action figure.
Did-
Yeah.
do- now,
I
do-
have a doll, too.
Do you
Back
put
to the
It's a little low on air.
do you put Barbie's clothes on him now, or what do you do? Oh my God! And remember, Rowdy Roddy also did that movie with aliens, where
Yeah.
they found those special glasses, and people that looked like humans were actually.
He was an actor.
He
that's
wasn't.
right.
Yes, he acted as much as I did. I think.
He was so hated when he would do the Madison Square Garden stuff. He was amazing. When he had his talk show, remember his talk show?
No,
Oh, it was
not at
great.
all.
Roddy Piper.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead.
Ahead. It's for you, Tony, to get you back in it.
Tie this up. Let's tie this up.
All right, let's tie it up.
I was crying there. Wow.
Yeah. Well, that can happen. All right. We'll bring it a little more current. Haven't seen enough of this guy, but I certainly know what he's all about. He's a madman in the ring. Right in the middle of our list, by the way, we have the 20 top WWE wrestlers of all time. Bruno Sammartino right in the middle. How about Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns. He's a little more contemporary. But a big champion.
So contemporary that I've never heard of him, and I'm going to say behind.
Can't give you an answer, Tone. I just simply can't. Yeah, he's right up there at the top,
I knew that.
close to the
Gage,
top.
have you heard of Roman Reigns?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Thank you, Gage.
Okay.
Isn't he one of the big champ? I mean,
He's the longest reigning
the longest reigning. That's yeah.
Since Bruno Sammartino, he's the longest reigning.
Okay.
Don't you wish you had your son
Tony,
sitting here?
Anthony would know
Tony,
that.
I'm going to give you a chance here. If Bob's wrong,
Yes.
you can ask Gage to answer for you.
Perfect. Don't go
Yeah,
anywhere.
just shout out the answer because he doesn't know what the hell's going on. Which qualifies you to work in the Browns front office, ironically. All right. Yeah.
There's an extension.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You've done terrible. Here's 3 more years. Bruno Sammartino's right in the middle of the list. Now, no helping your dad. Is the gorgeous one, Randy Orton, ahead or behind of Bruno Sammartino? Man, he was something. He was huge.
Gorgeous.
The legs on that guy was.
The gorgeous one
He was always mugging for the camera.
behind.
All right, now Tony,
You suck. I win.
I'm going to have to make this a chance for you to.
Do we have a daily double?
Yes, it's a daily double.
All right, I
It
can tell
just
you.
came up. But unfortunately, Gage will not be able to help you now. You have to get this yourself.
But I can make eye contact.
I
close your
encourage
eyes.
that.
Close your eyes.
All right,
He'll read
here we
your
go.
soul.
Bruno Sammartino. He's right in the middle of the list. Is Andre the Giant ahead or behind?
It's a gift. Ahead. That's it. What do you get these lists? It's like the food list, the vendors. It's
He's ahead and he is so big. He's ahead and behind.
All right, we'll go quickly because he's going to have triple if you get this one right. Here we go.
Okay.
20 top WWE wrestlers of all time. Bruno Sammartino in the middle of the list is Shawn Michaels, Mr. He do the thing by his crotch.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels,
back
ahead
to
or
wrestling.
behind?
I'm going to say behind.
I
Shot
said
here.
it's a triple. Tony can win
Let's do it.
now with
All right.
one answer.
Here we go.
Here we go. Bruno Sammartino in the middle of the list. The nemesis of Shawn Michaels is Bret the Hitman Hart. Ahead or behind Bruno
Is that the
Sammartino?
NWA? No.
Ahead. Yes.
He is
the win.
ahead by one, and what a comeback with the cheating as well.
Well, of
But
course.
what a comeback!
Who's number one?
Here we go. The number one is, who do you think, Gage?
I would have said Undertaker.
Undertaker. Steve Austin.
What about Hulk Hogan?
Steve Austin. Hulk Hogan, number 2.
Okay.
The Rock, number 3. John Cena, number 4. Roman Reigns, 5. Undertaker. Triple H, who now runs the joint,
Yeah.
was 7. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and then Bruno.
So you didn't ask me about Hulk. You didn't ask me. Okay, but I still won, so I'm happy.
Well, some of those, like Hulk and Rock and whatever, I mean, are so obvious.
I know. Great job on this,
But
as
I
always.
thought,
Yeah, it was fun.
May I salute our great producer?
Ryan's spectacular, as
Ryan
always.
came-
Thank you very much.
He came up with these, so
All right, break, and then your keys to the last segment coming up.
Chucky's
Browns,
keys will make picks.
big underdogs once again. Can they cover? We'll find out.
Not a
soon.
chance in hell.
Back here on the tailgate, time for Chucky. Keys
Keys
to the game.
the game. Read by our fantasticos.
The ahead
Tony
or behind
Zarrella.
champion. Thank you very much.
The header behind champion with rule changes in the middle of a header behind.
I'll take it. Let's get to it. All right. Week 8 here. Eagles at Bengals. Both beat us in the last few weeks. Bengals at home, coming off the win over the Browns here, giving 2.5. What do you got?
Giving 2.5 to the Eagles.
Yes.
I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals. I didn't think they looked very good here, Bob, but I do think with the receivers and Joe getting back into the thing
Yeah.
at home there, I was also not impressed with the Eagles against the Browns.
Yeah.
So I'm just flipping a coin. I'll go Bengals.
Yeah, they seem to be making more adjustments, trying to get things going than the Bengals are. They seem to be getting back on track with Joe Burrow. It's I'm going to go with them too.
All right.
You, Tony?
I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Okay.
That's an easy one for me. I'm in the lead, by the way, as Ryan tells me, in this season-long
next time we'll have to
endeavor.
see these things up
There
on
we
the
go.
screen.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go. So it's right there.
Oh.
Your evidence is right in front of you. Titans at right now, not a bandwagon guy, but my favorite football team in the NFL right now is the Detroit Lions. What a great story. What a way to build a franchise.
John Dorsey.
5-1 Lions at home, giving a lot, 11, Bob, to the awful Tennessee Titans.
I'm actually going to go with the Lions on this. I just they do everything on both sides of the ball very well, and I don't think they're going to get a little lead and just sit on it. I think they've got more momentum going than anybody. So I'm going with the Lions and 11 and a half.
Giving 11.
Yeah.
I would caution people, if someone's giving you 11, you might want to bite on a pillow. I'm going
And
to
you
go
might
with,
not want to listen to me. You might not want to listen to me.
I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
They are a no mercy team, which is another reason I like them. They're not going to just sit there and go, "Oh, we're up, okay." Or
Are
whatever.
you a no mercy guy?
I am a no mercy
I'm
guy.
with you on that, though.
Their coach, Dan Campbell, when he gets up, he's like, "Oh, we have our foot on our neck." You know,
Didn't they
and
just
they're
do
not-
that? Weren't they throwing late in that game when they had 47 on the board?
They become Boise State if they get up on you, is what happens.
Lions as well.
Lions.
Lions as
Lions,
well.
Lions.
I don't know if this is your porn pick of the week. Cardinals at Dolphins. Dolphins giving 3.5 because they had to pick, I guess, a
Yeah,
favorite.
that has a horrible stench
Hey,
to
is
it.
Tua coming back?
He's coming back
With the
and he
big
will
helmet-
not.
with the
He's
big
eligible.
bobblehead?
He won't wear it. I wanted to get to that.
Yeah.
We'll talk the Guardians cap, but he can play. So
Yeah,
So-
I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins on that. I think he's trying to prove something to get back in, and I've never.
I
liked
hate
the
that I have
Cardinals.
to pick because this is the fat porn game of the week. I would rather watch John Goodman and Roseanne Barr go at it in an adult feature than have to watch Cardinals Dolphins. Tua is not playing. Neither is Threa.
So Tua's definitely out.
Yeah,
you know that,
Tua's
even though
out.
he's
Tua's
eligible.
out.
So's
Okay.
Threa, Fora, and
Well, you
Fiva.
could have
I'm
told me that before I picked it.
I don't think it matters.
I know.
Cardinals have quietly kind of made themselves kind of back in it. Just for that reason, I'll take the Cardinals.
I haven't liked the Cardinals since Conrad Dobler.
Oh yeah,
I love
he was
Conrad
a dirty
Dobler.
player. Did
He
he
is
ever
a
do anything
dirty
bad
player.
to you?
After all the time. And then he came to my restaurant about 10 years ago, and he goes, "Hey, Bob, how you doing?" I'm going, "Shut up."
I get the Dolphins giving. Patriots hosting the Jets. This was in the running, I'm sure, for your fat porn game of the week.
Yeah, should be the Patriots.
Jets are favored.
Yeah, Jets are favored
By 7.
And the coach Mayo, not
New
Mayo,
England.
not Mayo from Officer and a Gentleman.
That's Zach Mayo.
Yeah, mayonnaise. That was such a great performance.
Yes.
Lou
Oscar.
Lou
that.
Gossett Jr.
There's
Oscar
only
winning.
two
So did
things that come from
so did the
Texas.
song when "Up Where We Belong." Joe Cocker won
Right.
best song.
That's right.
The reason we're talking about the movie Officer and a Gentleman is this game sucks, and so I'm going to take the Jets to get right, and
Giving
New
7.
England is trying to get another good pick.
Yeah. What do you got? Your former team.
I'm really going to go Patriots because I see we've had 11 days before the election, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be just a little bit too distracted by all the other stuff.
Yeah, I agree. With you got Patriots. Patriots have not been swept by the Jets since I was 8 years old. 2000 was the year.
Pick them.
I'm going to take that. That was a joke. Patriots and the 7 points. Thanks, Gage, for laughing.
Was
See,
I
you don't know- You
playing?
don't even listen to me
Was
when
I
I'm
playing?
talking. We got 2 minutes left. Let me get to the Baker game. Baker hosting the Falcons. Both teams 4-3. Atlanta is at Tampa, giving the 2.5.
Yeah, that's very surprising to me. I think the Buccaneers, the defense has been the problem. Baker can put up points. The one thing I'm worried about here, though, guys, and it better be taken, I'm hearing Godwin's out and also, what's his name?
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans.
Yeah, he had the hamstring. Yeah.
So with those two out, I don't ever want to pick against Baker, but I'll take the dirty birds because it's going to be, who's he going to throw it to?
Yeah. Bob?
I ever since the Browns did the nasty to Baker,
Yeah.
I've been on a one man
crusade.
crusade to apologize him, not apologize to him, but to support him.
Yes.
And I support him for this game too.
Okay. I got Baker. Baker and the Bucks. All right, we got a minute left here. Browns hosting the Ravens. Browns once again getting a ton of points here, 8 on their own turf.
I have props for the Browns-Ravens pick. I think that the Browns are going to get annihilated by the Ravens, and they're going to enjoy doing it. And, something's going to happen to Jameis Winston, and I have Bailey Zappi stats right here. That's right. As if we're in Las Vegas, Bob. It's Zappy time. And
They haven't even had a chance to make a jersey for the fans yet.
yeah, well, I think
You taking the Ravens?
I do think that Zappy's going to see the field either because Jameis is so beat up or
Yeah.
whatever, but I'm going to take the Ravens.
Ravens, what do you got? 20 seconds.
Oh God, I got to go. I
You gotta
got to
do
go with the
Browns.
Ravens.
Really? Whoa.
No, I mean the Browns. I mean the Browns.
Oh, okay.
I'm going with the Browns.
I got the Ravens giving the points. Gentlemen, we'll stay on this and try to get some. I hate the news crew say we're going to get answers. No, you're not. You're not getting answers. You never pick the phone up at the local news stations. You're not going to try. You won't get a call back. However, we are going to stay on this and dissect what continues to be the most embarrassing franchise in the NFL.
Yes,
and it
and if
rolls
they
on.
lose badly, I'm going to predict that Mike Vrabel will be the head coach next year, and Jason Kelsey will be the GM. How you like that?
Oh, I
well,
like
we
that.
do like that. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week on the Tailgate.